This video, I'm going to be going over a brand new coverage that is about to take over Madden 25 and maybe future Maddens as a whole. It is a really, really good defense, and you can run this coverage from pretty much any defense that you want to. I'm going to be showcasing this out of the Dime 3-2 today in the Jets defensive playbook. If you guys want to get any of my full offensive or defensive ebooks, those are all available in our school community. $10 is going to get you access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks for both Madden and for college football. So if you want to sign up for that community, that link is going to be down in the description below. One of the things that I wanted to talk about with this coverage is that I think that one of the best ways to play coverage in general over the course of several years has been this idea of creating triangles within your pass defense, the idea of creating brackets within that, and that is basically what this is going to do. Now, I'm going to be using this play Y-Sail as kind of the way to kind of showcase this out of the San Francisco, which is one of the better offenses in the game. And the cool part about this coverage is you don't have to do a lot. You actually don't have to do a lot to set this up. Now, the way that I like to run the defense as a whole is out of this double safety, because it gets the safeties in the box. It allows us to have a pretty decent degree of pre-snap disguise. And the biggest thing for coach adjustments, there's a couple keys: auto flip off, auto alignment on base. You don't have to do that for the coverage, but I like to do that for the defense. And then the other thing that's really important is you do not want zone drop set, okay? There is a matching principle within what we're going to say, and so you do not want zone drop set when you're running this coverage. So one of the best coverages in this game is cover 4 hard flat, primarily because it creates kind of a box within your defense. And what we're going to make sure is that we have this DB Fire 2 as an audible. You don't have to have DB Fire 2, just any kind of cover 2 shell as an audible. We could even have like the play cover 2 drop if we wanted to. I personally really like to run this concept from, just a basic cover 2 type of defense. You are going to want to slot corner blitzing because we're not going to be able to blitz our linebacker. Now, we know that in this year's game, one of the best ways to blitz is this idea of this crossfire loop right here, just walking this guy over and basically running the defense like this. And as you can see, this loop is really, really, really good. Another one of the ways that you're going to see people blitzing in this year's game is this idea of an engaged defense where we walk this linebacker over. We're going to then blitz the linebacker like this and essentially try to get this engaged defense to come in at the quarterback. However, there is kind of a third option, and it's really what I wanted to talk about today, which is this idea of just kind of mixing in a slot corner type of pressure, but a different type of coverage behind it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the play DB Fire 2. And as you see, we have, kind of a defense out here that's set up. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move this linebacker over. We're going to make it look just like that. But now we're going to put him on a mid read. And then this is going to sound crazy, but we're going to put the vert hook out here to the right side slot corner. We're going to cloud flat if you want a cloud flat, or we're going to hard flat. Either way, you can either hard flat or cloud flat, or leave the soft squats. I don't really like the soft squats. I would prefer to either cloud flat or hard flat. I'm going to hard flat if it's a short yardage situation. I'm going to cloud flat if it's a long yardage situation. One of the big tips I want to give you is I don't want you to shade your coverage. I want you to keep it as is, because sometimes shading will mess with this mid read, and the mid read is the whole point of the video. It's the whole point of the coverage. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put these safeties in outside thirds as opposed to putting them into deep halves. The purpose of these outside thirds is they're going to lock on to outside fade routes, which are one of the main ways that people like to attack cover 2. And what you're going to see here is we're going to have kind of this send for pressure. I still like to hit this guard like this, but one of the things I want to show you is we're just going to run kind of your standard doubles combination here. And what you're going to see is that this mid read is going to kind of do some crazy stuff. So now you don't have to outside third both of these guys, but I actually would suggest it. Now, in a formation like this, where they're not really able to attack over the top of this cloud, you might quarter this right side guy. But what the big key here is this mid read. This mid read is everything to this defense. I love the outside third on one. You could quarter on one side, outside third on the other side. It doesn't matter. But the idea of it is really just the mid read. And what you're going to see this mid read do is he's just going to lurk this tight end streak. So you're going to see right here, if I try to throw this, that mid read is just going to come over. He's going to get in perfect position, and he is going to lurk this. Now, we're going to compare that with the middle third. So you might think, well, Cody, why wouldn't you just put a middle third? Because the middle third is going to make sure that he always gets back and he plays defense, you know, the way that we want him to. The reason why you don't want a middle third is because in this year's game, middle thirds take forever to backpedal from the middle linebacker position. So what you're going to see, you actually went kind of crazy right there. Let's see if we can actually get you a little bit better example. Travis Kelce is a little slow. But in general, like if we let's say we middle thirded here and we outside thirded here, right? And we did something like this, what you're going to see is because that linebacker is too far down in the box, a lot of times he is just going to basically backpedal way too slow, and you could throw this over the top. It might just be because Kelsey's, you know, tired, but if they were similar speeds, that middle third does not normally play that as well. The other reason why I don't love the middle third adjustment is what I'm about to show you right here, which is just simply the fact that this middle, that if you know, have something like this, I can just throw this right here again and again and again. I can snap throw the tight end streak because I know the blitz is where the blitz is coming from. But if I use a mid read, you see that the mid read at the snap of the ball is going to turn, and he is going to basically, you know, flip and run right where you want him to. So you'll see right here that if I show you the play, now I'm going to try to, you know, throw it right in there, and you're kind of in a tight window. That's potentially a KO, especially, you know, in this year's game. So as you can see, the mid read is just a really, really cool zone that you can do a lot with. Now, that's not the only thing that the mid read does. So let's say, for example, that we got a combination. You know, let's say we got a combination like Y-Sail where they actually left the corner route, and then we have this backside kind of in route. So what you're going to see from this is this cloud flat is going to play pretty nice. You're also going to see that this mid read is going to get vertical on the post, and then that backside vert hook is going to get in that area to be able to take away the dig route as well. Another combo that a lot of people like is obviously, or another play is PA snag. And the reason that people like PA snag so much is because of this backside post. So what you're going to see from this coverage, again, this is a mixing coverage, but it's one of my favorites right now, is you're going to see that if I run this defense like so, I can also put these guys on hard flats, and these thirds will actually lurk a lot of stuff. But basically what's going to happen is this vertical hook, or this, I'm sorry, the mid read is going to be able to be in really nice position to kind of defend that post. The other thing about the mid read is it's going to match any streak. So let's say, for example, you know, that they run like a combo, a real horizontal type of route combo. The reason I like the mid read is because the mid read will, if there's not a streak on the field, if there is a streak on the field, he'll take it. But if there's not a streak on the field, you can feel fully confident in putting these guys on the outside thirds. And watch how this mid read is just going to, you know, sit right in the middle, and it's going to take away that post route. So this is one of the best zones that really you don't see a lot of people using because so many people are running the Sen 4. But if you run every now and then, mixing something like this in is really, really effective. Now, if you want to get super aggressive with this and outside third both of these guys, let's just say hypothetically we did get a Y-Sail combo. What you're going to see is the mid read is going to take one of the streaks, but as you see, that outside fade is still going to be a little bit of a problem. That's why against a specific formation like this where there is that threat, what I would do is quarter this right side guy, but I have this third to the left side. So why is the third to the left side important? Because if we get, you know, too vertical to the left side, then you'll see here that that outside third's able to get it, and then that mid read, as you see right there, he's kind of going back to that streak. So anyway, this is just a cool little defense. I think it's a great little change-up defense, and it's a way to kind of run a cover two base defense in this year's game where you're utilizing different principles. But this idea of a quarter on one side and a third on another side is really, really good. The main reason the quarter's on the right side is just because that's where the Y-Sail, that's the threat of Y-Sail is, and the tight end streak. Because if they run, you know, a combo, let's just say hypothetically, you know, we run something like this, we can handle the verticals. So you see here that outside third, he's going to latch onto that slot, and then the quarter is going to take that other guy, and then the mid read is actually able to kind of midpoint the post route on the right hand side. I'll actually show that in replays. So again, as you see here, he snapped the ball. You see how that mid read just immediately flips his hits, immediately gets vertical, right? And then he's basically able to midpoint everything on the field. And then your user, all you have to cover is that middle post route. So this is a great way, especially if you want to mix in some slot corner pressure to your defense. Some great way to do it. Now on the blitzing side of things, all you have to do to make this blitz super good is simply hit the guard, and a lot of times that slot corner will come free, especially if they're setting up pass pro for your other blitzes within the defense. So let me just kind of, show that real quick. So if I go to Y Sale, and I'm trying to set up, pass pro, maybe I'm sliding or double teaming or whatever, right? It doesn't really matter because most people have all kinds of different pass pro against dollar because it's so hard to block it. If they're setting up different types of pass protection and things like that, then what you're able to do here is you're just going to see, I'm just looking to hit this guard. Here I hit the guard, and then boom, I get a B gap and I get a slot corner. So it's a great little mix-up defense that people aren't expecting. The mid-read is a zone that really nobody sees this year, and it's really, really, really good for kind of what we call running the pole or just, getting vertical in the middle of the field and midpointing some of the toughest routes to defend and some of the primary routes in most offenses that you're going to see. I want to thank you for watching this video, and if you want to get my full offensive and defensive ebooks completely updated, those are all in our school community. That is going to be linked in the description below. $10 gets you access to all of our offensive and defensive ebooks in both Madden and college football. So if you want to sign up, head down to the description and click the link below.